Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua Bashem Rakakwadash, and the ones to the apostles and others great Muslim salutations to the hopeful elect. And I'm going to go ahead and go into some what you're hearing on the news recently. And it seems as Saudi Arabia has officially entered the U.S. and Iran war. All right. And Trump, not too long ago, all right, he has threatened to hit Iran hard, with more strikes. All right, and I believe that already happened, but not too long ago. All right, yeah, this incident where a cyber attack on the water system happened in Minnesota. Was it Minnesota? Oh, Minnesota. All right.
This morning, the FBI and EPA out with a warning to water and wastewater facilities, alerting them to a surge in cyber attacks. Companies in at least 7 states now reporting incidents to federal authorities. Some of the operations affected, according to the FBI, include flooding and loss of pressure, which could potentially allow untreated groundwater to seep into pipes. The warning comes amid a wide-scale cyber attack targeting more than 30 water treatment systems in Minnesota. Authorities have not yet identified who is responsible for the Minnesota attack, but sources tell us a number of officials suspect Iran-linked hackers may be involved. In one case, the hackers were able to actually shut down the flow of water from the well and water treatment plant in the tiny city of Brom, forcing officials to provide clean water to residents already stored in its water tower. In a statement, the city says it was informed that there were at least 4 other communities attacked with the same result. The city of Maple Plain declaring a local emergency that was in effect for 2 days, and the city of Plymouth also affected.
Well, yeah, there you have it. All right. You had a cyber attack that happened on in several states, but mainly they're focusing on in Minnesota. All right, and years ago, I would say in 2021 or 2020. All right, you have Klaus Schwab. All right, which was the head of the World Economic Forum. All right, he was warning of cyber attacks. All right, on the U.S. All right, that would basically cut out the lights, or of course, you know, cyber attacks attacking energy supplies. All right, and for this case, all right, a cyber attack that they're talking about is a cyber attack on the water system, man. All right, but nonetheless, all right, the elites, all right, what you're seeing here right now, all right, they're trying to they're trying to push a narrative to making it as if it's an attack from Iran. But what's going on behind the scenes is that the elites, all right, the the elites that run the world, all right, part of them being of the World Economic Forum, all right, they're the ones pulling the strings behind the scenes, all right. And what you're seeing here is a polycrisis, all right. This year has been one hell of a year of a polycrisis, and yet there's much more to come. But this is what the elites want: order out of chaos. All right, and here you see that the chaos is brewing. All right, um, them orchestrating a cyber attack that basically attacked a water system. All right, or of course unleashing a world war to the point where there's a global energy crisis. All right, and real soon you're gonna have strict measurements. You're gonna have how do you call it, draconian measures that will be implemented real soon because of the times that we're coming into. Because it's gonna get super drastic in the times that we're coming into, especially now, since there is an energy crisis, all right, and the cost of living is going up. A lot of these people are having to pay a fortune, for their groceries, and in order to get by, they will also have to pay their bills, all right, the water bills, their utilities, all right, things of that sort. And hey, the whole main goal what these elites are trying to accomplish is a new world order. But out of that, they had to orchestrate, all right, order out of chaos, all right, problem, reaction, solution, all right, which real soon they're going to implement an RFID microchip, which the apostles and others, great millstone, have been prophesying to you people about for many years, all right. That prophecy is a real important prophecy that is yet to come to pass, all right, and it will come to pass. But I'm gonna start with, woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? All right, and surely, these are the mindset of these elites. All right, they're pulling the strings. All right, they got these plans laid out, and right now, they're going at it. They're pulling the strings to the point where they're orchestrating these polycrises in order to get the chaos rolling. So when the time comes, they can implement the RFID microchip. All right. But yeah, these are the elites. All right. They have secret societies where they come together. They congregate. All right. They know who the Israelites are, right? They know that the Lord is going to come back and beat their asses, but in their minds, all right, is nothing but pride. They're proud, all right. They want to microchip everybody in the entire planet, all right, and they want to get the men of the Lord, all right. But the Lord is going to make sure that no evil is going to touch His elect. Hey, the Lord's eyes is 10 times brighter than the sun. All right, the Lord sees all things. All right, the Lord sees everything. All right, and the Lord, all right, He ultimately has these elites in the trick bag, because at the end of the day, the Lord controls everybody. All right, it's like the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turneth whatsoever He will. All right. Well, this is 16. Surely your turning of things upside down should be esteemed as the potter's clay, for shall the work say of him that made it, He made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that he framed it, he had no understanding. But yet, the Lord, he created everything, or the Lord created everybody, all right? And that means that the Lord could also control everybody, all right? He controls every spirit. So, yeah. These elites, all right, they take crafty counsels, all right. The scriptures speak about these elites, all right, that they, that you will link what the elites would be doing, and comparing them with the scriptures, right? Because they have crafty counsels, all right. They devise iniquity. Let me see if I can find that one too. They so damn foot on my head. Oh, there we go. I'm here, Psalms 83, and I'm gonna start at verse Let's start at verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head, and they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. All right, and this is what these elites are basically orchestrating right now. All right, they take crafty counsel, against the Israelites. All right, and primarily, all right, they wanna try to target the elect. All right, they want to target the men of the Lord that are prophesying. All right, because His word has reached unto the four corners of the earth, and a lot of our people are waking up to the fact that they are the true Hebrew Israelites. All right, they're waking up to the fact that that Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai is their true power. All right, and these elites, they're scared because they see that our people are waking up, and so this is why. All right, you're seeing polycrises, all right, that happening simultaneously in this year, right? Because these elites, they be looking up in the skies, all right. They they be seeing that the chariots of the Lord, all right, they be flying through the skies, man. All right, and these elites, they know that the chariots of the Lord are the Lord's angels that are inside of them. All right. Says verse 4, and they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. That's right. Ultimately, all right, these elites, they want to cut us off. All right, they want to cut the tribes off. All right, you also call blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. They want to chip you. They want to keep you as a slave. All right, in a digital captivity, man. All right, all over again. Isaiah 29 and oh, the fuck! I think I brought this one up, didn't I? Damn. Nonetheless, all right, there's gonna come to a point in time where things are gonna get so chaotic that eventually, all right, the power grid is gonna go out. All right, the lights are gonna be cut off. All right, and then we're just seeing the beginning stages. Right, this is probably this is what I would say a test run. All right, but really, all right, it's all gonna come down to where the elites, they're eventually gonna shut everything down. All right, they're gonna basically use a cyber attack on the grid. All right, cut off the lights, the power supply, blackout, total blackout. All right, and by then, all right, there will be no motion. There will be no motion, no groceries coming into your grocery stores. All right, no trucks moving. All right, computer systems down. All right, because these elites, all right, they're getting ready to implement a new system by the way of the RFID microchip. But nonetheless, here's Jeremiah 30 and 6. I'm gonna start verse 5. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. And see now, and see where the man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. And that's right, we're coming into a time like no other, right? All right, these people, right, that have no clue on what's going on, all right, our whole war is going to break loose and is going to catch them unaware, all right? When you're clueless, all right, of a surprise attack, all right, of course you're going to be scared, all right, because you didn't take heed to the early warning signs, man. Right? You have no idea what's going on. You're clueless, all right? All of a sudden, the grid goes out and you're all clueless, like, oh yeah, this might be a temporary thing, but hey, 3 days go by, or a week. The next thing you know, the grid may not ever come back on, all right? But these people are going to be real scared in that time that we're coming into, all right? In the males, all right, and these females, all right? 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right, and that's the time that we're coming into, Jacob's trouble. All right, and the he that is going to be saved out of it is the Lord's elect. But nonetheless, hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh B'Ashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom.